What is going on, everybody, man? King Recon here on this wonderful Thursday afternoon, man. And tomorrow we're gonna get a newest installment in the Wano Awesome Sauce. I really can't wait for that, man, because it's been going in. Last week's chapter was a lot of fun, and then on Saturday, finally, the 5th Emperor of the Sea will be known to all of my anime-only friends, man. Yo, listen, I cannot wait for this episode. I can't wait for this entire arc, but this episode, chapter 903, because I know for people who are anime only, this episode is going to be emotional for them, man. Just seeing how they're already going to utilize the Shanks flashback in there. I can already tell they're probably going to utilize Kobe flashbacks. I can't wait for Saturday's episode, man. It's going to be a good one. And I can't wait to come on here and talk about it and react to it, because it's gonna be a good episode, man. I feel it in my bones. It's gonna be a good episode. The anime's been on fire. This past episode was, like I said in the video, probably my favorite episode of the entire arc, and one of my favorite episodes in the entire series. It was a marvelous just adaptation of what Whole Cake Island is, man. Soul Poke is one of the best soundtracks in the series. It's like right there with like Pink Sake in terms of the vocal soundtracks that we've heard that play in the series, and of course We Are, but We Are is the unquestionable #1 because of the vocal soundtracks, at least for me. But even just like combining instrumental and vocals, Soul Pocus is up there. But what an emotional episode, man. And whenever I had my friends who were anime only, who they're pretty casual when it comes to the One Piece series, and for them to come on here and tell me that was one of the best episodes was really cool for me, because I was like, man, you know what, it's an episode that really hit the emotional strings of not only us hardcore fans but of the casual fans as well. And so I'm glad that they really nailed that episode, because to end an arc on such a high note is going to leave a great taste in a lot of people's mouths when it comes to the Whole Cake Island arc. So I was really happy about that, man, and to see people coming to appreciate the Sanji and Pudding Awesome Sauce, man, just made me so happy, man. Shout out to the Believe in Pudding movement. We move, man, and we do it big. But it was so good to see everybody and their reactions to that moment, and it was awesome, man. Just an entire episode was fantastic. But I'm looking forward to watching reactions on YouTube and getting the reactions for Twitter from anime onlys and from my friends that are anime onlys. Cannot wait to see how they react to this upcoming episode, because it's going to be a good one, man. Now, Toei released a Revery arc poster, and this is the most misleading poster that I have ever seen. Alright, now I can understand having the 3 princesses in there. You have Shirahoshi, you have Vivi, and then you have Rebecca, right? I understand that. I understand sobbing Sabo in, even though Sabo's in an attacking formation, and we only ever get to hear of the attack through the annals of the GOAT, you know what I'm saying? Letting us know in chapter 925 of what was actually going down. That's how we knew that there was battles taking place, but we didn't actually get to see it, right? Unless the anime decides to hit us with some godly filler. And that filler is Sabo throwing hands. I'll be all for that. You know what I'm saying? I'm all for filler with Sabo throwing hands. All day, any day. All day, any day. All right? Now, unless the anime is doing that, but I don't see them doing that. So we have Sabo in the top right doing the dragon claw, and it's on fire, man. It just looks so beast. And I'm like, God, any anime only is looking at this, man, they're probably expecting something completely different, yeah. So we have the 3 princesses, we have Sabo, and then on the bottom we have all the Straw Hats. And this is the most misleading poster for the Reverie of all time, because none of the Straw Hats are there. I understand having the Straw Hats in a poster because they are the flagship of the show. You have to have them on there, especially Luffy. You know, I understand all that, man. But if we remember back in the day, when it came to the Marineford and Impel Down posters that they would have on certain walls, one of my favorite posters in the entire One Piece series is one with Luffy in his yellow garb. You have Ace, and then on like the top right, because in the background is Marineford, and then you have like the Marines on this side, you have the Whitebeard Pirates on this side, and you have Ace on top and Luffy on the bottom fighting alongside like Ivankov and Crocodile. It's a nasty poster, man. I need to go out and find it. Again, it's one of my favorite posters that the series has ever released. And I was expecting something like that for the Reverie arc, but I guess even Toei, and this is why now after seeing that particular promo, I'm wondering how they're going to handle the visuals, because initially I thought that they were going to go all out on the visual for the promo and also for the opening that's going to take place, or what I'm assuming is going to be a brand new opening from a visual standpoint, because it's still going to be the same song. I still expect the same opening from a song standpoint, but from a visual standpoint, I'm expecting at least some sort of change to the opening. And if it's not this upcoming week, then after that, I most certainly expect a new opening change when it comes to the visuals, because what sense would it be to go through the entire Reverie arc and have Whole Cake Island visuals? I don't think they're gonna stay with those same visuals. So with that being said, after I saw the promo image and how safe they were on only showing the characters that we know are going to appear in the princesses and then showing Sabo, what this is telling me is that they don't want to spoil their viewers on who is going to show up here to the Reverie, which is awesome, all right? It's awesome because at the very least, people who are anime only, even if they would have seen that image, they would have no idea of the certain amazing characters that actually do appear in the Reverie arc. So in that sense, it's pretty nice, all right? In that sense, it is pretty cool. Now, moving into the opening, I am expecting changes to the opening from a visual standpoint, but like I said before, after seeing the promo, because originally I expected them to go all out. I expected it to be a half Reverie, half Wano opening. The first half being the entirety of the Reverie in at least the characters that show up, most of them. Like, of course, not going to show all of them. Like, they would be stupid to show certain characters, because that's a big, massive twist that happen in the arc itself. But at least certain characters that we already know are going to be showing up, and their particular squads, like seeing the Alabasta squad, seeing the Dressrosa squad, the Fishman Island squad, maybe even showing the Revolutionary Army, and characters that we know are going to be making a move during this entire saga that have been like that we've been leading up to the entire time before this. You know what I'm saying? So I at the very least expect that for the first half of the opening. The second half of the opening, though, I'm expecting Wano visuals. And the reason why I expect Wano visuals is because at the end of the opening, you notice that they always show the other squad, the Zoro squad, with Zoro, Robin, Usopp, and Frankie. So it's showing the other squad of characters, the ones that weren't a part of Whole Cake Island, the ones that were going directly to Wano. And it's showing those characters there at the end of the opening. So I am expecting this week, either this week or next week, whenever the visuals change, which I'm expecting. Once again, if they don't change, then they don't change. But I do think they're going to change, and when they do change, I think that at that portion of the opening, we're going to get Wano visuals. Like, as in, those characters in their Wano outfits. You know how awesome that'd be, man? Just show a sneak peek to us as manga readers into the anime onlys of like their Wano wardrobe. Now, if they don't want to spoil the Wano wardrobe, I mean, it's just wardrobe. I think if they were back in opening 15 for We Go, they pretty much showed everybody what everybody looks like in We Go. Like they showed everyone's new designs in We Go before we saw them in the actual anime. So if they continue down that route and they focus more on promotion rather than surprise effect, since they're already hiding all the characters that are going to show up in Reverie anyway, why not hype up Wano and show the characters in their Wano outfits? I don't know how they're going to handle it. If they decide to go down that route, I would be all for it, man, because showing those outfits, or at the very least get anime onlys, like, it would let them know that Wano's coming, that Wano is on the way, and it would show them at the very least in their Wano outfits, if they want to do that. Or we could have a version 3 of the opening, where for now we see the Straw Hats in their very same forms, and then after chapter 909 gets animated, then that part of the opening we see them in their Wano outfits. However they want to play it. It's just that it reminds me of back whenever we had the Zo visuals at the end, and certain things were covered up until we saw what was actually happening in the arc, and then we got to see more of those visuals as the opening went on. That's what I'm expecting to see with Wano and with with the newest version of the opening. Is either now or after 909 gets animated that we see the Wano visuals towards the end of that opening. But for right now, focusing on Reverie, like I said before, the princesses, the Revolutionary Army, all of the characters in the One Piece world, because with this opening, they can take the advantage of showing every single character that has ever been put in this series, and it would fit, man. They could put almost every character ever. I mean, it could be the 20th anniversary opening. It really can. This could be the 20th anniversary version of the opening with the Reverie arc, because not only do a lot of these characters show up in the arc, but it's 20th anniversary of the series. So it would make sense to have a brand new opening with all of those characters in it, man, because it would be a 20th anniversary opening, and it would be homage to the Reverie. So I think that's the route they should go. That's just me, though. And then, of course, finish off the opening with Wano hype and going into the Wano greatness. Kind of like how they did back with whenever they're going in Dressrosa. And then they were leading into Zou. And towards the beginning of Zou. And then leading into the rest of Zou. And that type of stuff, man. So that's just what I'm expecting with the opening and its changes in visuals, because like I said, I don't expect it to stay with the Whole Cake Island visuals. I do expect the visuals to change because it would just make sense. It would just make sense. Now, if it's not this week, like I said, I expect it to be next week. I expect it to be next week that we will no longer have the Wano visuals in the opening. So we'll see what happens, man. I look forward to seeing the changes if they do make changes, but that's just my predictions on what they should have in the opening. Rather than what we currently have. And I love what we currently have. It just wouldn't fit the Reverie side of the series. Now then, man, let's dive right into this special. This is going to be TV special number 2. This was my first time viewing this special, man, so it was a lot of fun. Me and my brother were watching it. It was really nice starting off the special with Hikari A, and then once again, the same way that I marked out when I watched TV special 1, when TV special 2 started, and I saw the Kaizoku fan subs playing with Hikari A, I was like, man, dude, nostalgia. I mean, just absolute nostalgia. Anytime I see the Kaizoku fan subs on top whenever the opening's playing, it brings good vibes. It brings good vibes, man. It really, really does. Now, this special is called Open Upon the Great Sea, A Father's Huge, Huge Dream. And it aired on April 6th, 2003, between episodes 149 and 150. Now, do y'all remember back when I did the Recon piece a couple of weeks ago and I was talking about the television ratings and a look into One Piece's television ratings, and there was one that was really, really odd. It was in Jaya. It was episode 146 that got almost a 20% rating, which was the highest that the series has ever seen, right? And I was wondering, why in the Flying Flag Nerds was that episode in particular rated so high? And the reason for it is because that very same week, Dead End Adventure Movie 4 was releasing. And I was like, yo, that makes sense now. People watched that episode in anticipation of the movie. And I was like, now it makes sense. Now it makes sense. And then just a couple of weeks later, they got a special. So, at that time in Japan, they were flourishing, son. They were getting some greatness. They got Jaya, which in of itself is awesome sauce. Then they got movie 4. And then after that, after a couple weeks, they got TV special 2. You're like, well, I mean, just absolute greatness back to back to back for the One Piece anime, man. So, the TV rating for the special was a 12.7%, which is around what Jaya... I mean, Jaya was actually really popular in the anime, so it was around that average, almost a 13%, which is very, very good. I mean, nowadays, that'd be seen as huge, but in those times, in the beginning of 2003... it's still a very, very solid rating, so 12.7% is still very, very good. Now, let's talk about the special itself, man. Now, this ran for around 46 to 47 minutes, just like the first special. It was a pretty solid special, man. It was the best thing about the special to me, of course, being Nami wearing the straw hat for a majority of the special. I can't deny it, man. I can't deny it. Nami wearing the straw hat for majority of the special. There was an awesome walk scene that took place in this special towards the end, because, man, dude, there is the main antagonist of the film, his name is Bayon. I wanted to punch this dude. I mean, he was another one of those Celestial Dragon Spandom type of characters where I just wanted to slide him, man. Just a good punch in the face, bro. This is one of those despicable characters, man. It makes you even more mad at the simple fact that Luffy can't do anything because of his ability. Now, his ability was pretty cool. It's like he's a symphony conductor, and his ability, whenever that song is playing, he can control people. And I thought that was very, very fascinating, man. So he utilized that on Luffy. Well, first of all, let me go back to a sec. I wanna talk about the walk. Towards the end of the special, they had like a walk scene. But my favorite thing about this walk is that we never got to see their faces until it showed all of them on the screen at the same time after hitting them in the face. So you had the walk, no overtaken playing, by the way, no overtaken. They had the walk playing. All you saw was their feet. You saw a dude get sent flying, which was Zap, right? You saw Zap get sent flying, and this was so satisfying because Zap, this entire film had been, or at the beginning, was the one that was oppressing the characters that we had come to know. And whenever we saw what they were doing to Amanda, specifically what Bion and Zap were doing to Amanda, we want to see both these dudes get punched in the face. Now, they had a really funny gag, both Zap and Bion, where Zap couldn't read Bion's mind, and he's over here trying to, like, give him some sort of signal of what to do, and he's thinking in a completely different way. That was hilarious. That was a great gag. But aside from that, like, you really wanted to punch these dudes in the face, man. I mean, they had almost no likable qualities aside from that gag. You just wanted to slap them, man. And that's what the Straw Hats did. They went up in, like, somewhere, pwned them, and then we got to see this really, really amazing final sequence for that, where at the end of their walk, they finally get to Bion. And now that the symphony is gone, thanks to Usopp and Chopper's creation of utilizing their sleeping pills and putting it in their mouths, which is the same thing that knocked out Luffy towards the beginning of this film. So they pwn Bion, but it was so cool because it showed all of their attacks on screen at once. And in the way the Kazuku Fansubs does it is it's in the color, it's in everybody's style, and it's just on top of each other, like all on the screen at the same time, which is, it was a really cool visual. And I really, really liked it. Overall, when it comes to, and then another key scene was the end of the special. The end of the special was really, really touching, man. Marvelous OST playing, and then you finally get to see the treasure that Amanda's father was looking for, which was what the whole special was based on. Of course, the title as well. And it was inside of this massive oyster. And it was a really touching scene, man. And it was beautiful for two reasons. Number one, for Amanda, for wanting to continue adventuring after that. And number two, for, I forgot what the other character's name, but it was one of the other siblings. She had a really, really beautiful scene with Sanji. Now, throughout the film, up until that point, you had seen that she had like this other side to her where she was like half and half on certain things. Like, she understood what was going on as a child. She understood what was going on, but she had her own questions. And Golden Odin, which is one of my favorite soundtracks in the entire series, started playing whenever she was out there staring into the sky on the water. And Sanji walks over to her because he wants to know what's going on. And he asks her something around the lines of, you know, or she asked him after he asked, like, what's going on, like, what was wrong. And she says something around the lines of, do gold and jewels really make somebody happy? Or like, is it really worth that much to make somebody that happy? And Sanji goes on this entire thing that is so marvelous and beautiful, basically saying the classic that money doesn't give everybody happiness. However, your father gave his life for this dream and this thing that you call just gold and jewels, this treasure. And that by itself should be enough that it has value to it. Like, the fact that he was willing to give up his life for this dream, for this item, for this treasure, should mean that it went way beyond just gold and jewels, way beyond just money. You know, he found something so important in this, and in you guys as a family, that he felt the need to protect it with his very life. And I was like, wow, man. He felt the need to protect his dream and his family. And thus, above gold and jewels, the treasure, the idea of the treasure, was worth and of course the two types of treasures being his family and the treasure itself. But the fact that he was willing to give it all for his dream was just so One Piece to me. And Sanji's speech on that was so beautiful. And then whenever she asked him, it's like, man, sir, you're not like all the other pirates that we've met. And Sanji's like, I'll tell you what, I was raised by pirates, and I'll be a pirate until the day I die. And I was like, Sanji, it was Sanji greatness, man. So it was a wonderful, wonderful Sanji moment. Really, really nice. And that scene was amplified at the like I was saying at the end of the film. Whenever you get to see the father's dream realized and what his treasure was, which is inside of this massive oyster on this island, and it was really touching, man. A really touching way, a really beautiful way to end the film. The final words of the film, of course, being Amanda, who was our kind of like main character from the characters that were introduced, stating how much she loved her father and how she's going to continue her father's dream. And man, dude, but what they were doing to Amanda was really, really making me mad. And it was great. It was a great job by the writers of this special to really have her be the focal point, because knowing her and how she had the treasure on her back, which was very, very fascinating, and what they were doing to her there, and how we couldn't do anything because of the symphony conductor. It was a really well done way of raising the tension in that moment, because you really wanted to punch that dude in the face, but you knew Luffy could fauterize him in an instant. I mean, he basically did the zap earlier on in the movie. Earlier on in the movie, Luffy was knocked out. I mean, he was slump. And still while he was slump, my man knocked out Zap while just saying, oh, okay. And he goes over there and he one-shots, dude. And that's how you knew. They were like, yeah, these guys wouldn't last long at all against Luffy. But aside from that, really nice character interactions and moments. There was this one really cool one with Nami, where Nami had they were basically, this is whenever Luffy and Amanda were separated. They were taken by Zap's ship, and they were trying to figure out what they need to do in order to go over there. They had like this little meeting, and trying to figure out what exactly is going on, and they want the truth to why it is that they were here on this island. So they went on and they were asking them and everything, and then eventually they got to the treasure part. And so you already know how Nami feels about treasure. And he's like, oh yeah, so there actually is a treasure. And Nami's like, what? And whenever she does it, the entire screen, like, you see a blinding light coming out of Nami. And you see that Zoro, Chopper, and everyone there is like, whoa, like, my eyes, they're like, what is this blinding light? Can anybody possibly shine that much? And then Nami's gaze goes towards the new characters that we got introduced to, and now they're being blinded by the light too, and it was hilarious. It was classic One Piece comedy with Nami and her love for treasure and money. And then Zoro even calls her out for it before that. Zoro goes something along the lines of, yeah, even if you do end up getting this treasure, it's theirs, right? It's not ours. And Nami's like, yeah, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. And then after that's whenever they say, oh, you know what? She doesn't really like treasure anyway. And that's whenever as whenever her eyes like gleamed, like, oh yeah, she doesn't like treasure, I'll take it, no question. That was great. I'm a sucker for the Chopper and Zoro relationship. Like, their relationship is so cool because Chopper looks up to Zoro so much as like this manly adult figure that he wants to be like, and Zoro's just carrying Chopper around, just their communications with each other. It was so cool. I really like their interactions in this special. But yeah, so almost all of our Straw Hats got really nice moments to shine. Robin got her moments to shine. Good old post-Alabasta Robin. It was really cool seeing her like that. Once again, Usopp and Chopper having their moments as well. Usopp being the one that managed to take care of a lot of the enemies thanks to his sleeping pills that he utilized. Both him and Chopper. Chopper made the sleeping pills, and then Usopp was the one that sniped them all into everybody's mouth. It was a really cool scene. So almost all the Straw Hats got their moments to shine in this special. Zoro getting his towards the end of the special by being the one to take out all of the obstacles that were in the way in order to reveal the oyster and its location. So they all, of course, got their moments there during this special. And then the new characters that they were introduced, they were pretty nice, and the overall story with the father was pretty touching. So overall, it was an okay special. It was an okay sauce. It was to me, I preferred the first special because the first special focused more on the characters and the character interactions. And for me, was a better if I watched. I mean, you know what? Even with this one, I feel like if I would have watched this, not being a fan of the series, I probably would have continued watching. But I don't know, maybe it's just the high standard left by that first special. That first special was really, really, really good, and it just captured everything so well about what One Piece is all about. And even though the special caught a little bit of that in the value of treasure, and what it means for them to be pirates and whatnot, I still feel like this felt more like what it is, which is a filler. You know, a TV special, of course, being a filler, just like a longer filler. As if you take a filler and you make it into a movie, that's what a TV special is supposed to do. But it's also supposed to get new fans into the series who have never been into the series before. And I feel like because I saw Special 1 first, and Special 1 set that standard to me of for One Piece specials so far, I feel like that's why this one, it didn't disappoint me because it was still solid, but it just, to me, the other one, it was just better from an overall structure standpoint, from a storytelling standpoint, an emotional standpoint, from the story, from what was going on with the new characters and the story that was introduced within it itself as its own standalone story. I have to say that it was definitely not as good as the first film, or as the first special. So overall, it was an okay sauce. Still enjoyable, of course, because it's our beloved characters, and they had some really nice character moments. But I just feel like there was it felt like, and it felt like a filler. It felt like a filler arc. It really did. It felt like unlike the first one, where the first one legitimately felt like something that I could see happening within the series itself. This one, it was just a filler special, which, you know, that's all it needs to be. That's all it needs to be. And if I was a person who was watching this, I probably would come back the following week to see what happened to these characters. So overall, it was an okay sauce. Special 2 was fun. It had a lot of pretty fun moments, greatness, like the Nami, of course, wearing the hat for majority of the special. You had the awesome walk. Any walk scene is appreciated. Yeah, and the walk onto the ship to Pon Bayon was really awesome. And the end of the film was really, really touching. Really, really nice stuff. So overall, a really fun experience. It's a brand new experience for me, so that amplifies that effect tenfold. And I look forward to going through special number 3. Or I don't know if I want to do special number 3 next, or if I want to go back and re-experience the greatness of movie 1. I'm still thinking about which one I want to do there first, or I could go back and do and re-experience the 1998 OVA, which I might want to do that as well before I do any of the movies. But we'll see what happens, man. We're gonna play it by ear. I can't wait to also go back and watch, whenever I finally get the Blu-ray DVD to arrive in my house, the episode of Sabo. I need to get my hands on that soon, because I know that's been out for a couple days. But regardless, this TV special, the Father's Huge Dream, to me is an okay sauce. It's an okay sauce. It was fun moments, a solid filler-like story with some pretty cool moments within the thing itself. But that's going to be it for me today, everybody. Man, I hope everybody has an awesome sauce of a day. If you have not watched the special, I highly recommend checking it out. It is, I mean, anything One Piece related is always worth checking out, but this one really reminded me of the fillers in the series, and there was definitely certain fillers that I enjoyed, and this would have been a filler arc, had it been a filler arc in the anime, that I would have enjoyed, man. So thank you all very much for watching. Have an awesome of a day. We have an awesome weekend ahead of us with One Piece greatness in the manga and the anime, and I look forward to experiencing those with all of you, man. I hope everybody has a great one. This has been Recon's Peace, episode 34, and I hope everybody has an awesome of a day, man.